Chukky Okobi back with more basic instructions of mind mastery. Recently, I was asked by a friend and mentor of mine to speak to his mastermind group here in Kansas City. He brought together a group of high-level performing entrepreneurs and business leaders, presidents and CEOs of their companies. They connect each month to foster one another's continuous development in their careers and provide wisdom and insight into how they can each achieve their ideal vision for their company. After my presentation during the Q&A, I got a question from one of those in attendance, a question that I imagine many of you have thought before. He simply asked, how can I learn to suppress or stop altogether negative thoughts? Now, this started a group discussion that went pretty deep. It inspired me to share some of the takeaways from this talk. You know, what comes to mind for me when I think about how can I stop negative thoughts is the concept of perception as interpretation. Just think about the words, the language, perception and interpretation. Now, perception is defined in the dictionary as the state of being or becoming aware of something through the five senses. I saw something, I heard something, I feel something. The definition of the word interpretation is the action of giving meaning to that which I perceive. To put this idea into what I call NFL or normal functioning language, basic instructions, what perception as interpretation means is that your life experience is whatever you say it is in the moment, the story you're telling yourself in your mind right now. See, what this leader wasn't connecting the dots on was something that many people don't realize. He wasn't thinking of his thoughts, the words that we use to talk to ourselves. He wasn't considering them as an actual creative medium. Recognize that thoughts are things. See, most people think thoughts are inconsequential, like, I was just thinking about things. Not realizing that if you are thinking about negative things and you now feel negatively about those things, your thoughts actually created that negative feeling that you have right now. Now, it may not feel so good right now, but this actually is really good news when you think deeper into it. See, there are a couple of issues with this question that I want to bring to your attention. The first thing, when a client asks me, how do I stop negative thoughts? My answer always begins the same. You don't. There's really no use in trying to suppress them or stop them. It's unrealistic and ineffective, I should say, mental strategy. It's like my coach. Now, my coach, he's from Hawaii. I love this guy. My coach, he said that his mentor, his uncle, used to say, you can't let go of a thought, but once you see it for what it is, it lets go of you. I always found this to be profound. It shines the light on the fact that thoughts don't have any significance to them until we decide to focus on them and then repeat them in our mind over and over. It's the mind-body energy connection. I'll go deeper. When we give our attention to negative thoughts, they dominate our mind, which is then connected to our physical body and our energy, remembering that our emotions are just energy in motion. Think about it, emotions. It's because I'm giving my energy to this negative thought. That's why it feels like a problem to me. See, we unknowingly get caught in what I call the truth trap. Now, what's the truth trap? Think about it like this. You got to recognize that many times when we're thinking thoughts, we unconsciously believe that they're facts, but they're not. They're just thoughts. Thoughts are not facts, which brings me to the second issue with this question about stopping or suppressing negative thoughts. You realize that in order for a thought to bother me, A, I have to have the thought, and then B, I have to decide to take this thought seriously. It's really funny, kind of silly when you think about it. Realize that a thought not taken seriously has no power. It really is that simple. For example, you can imagine if I said to myself, I'm such an idiot. I'll admit I've said that to myself in my mind. Now, we can agree that's a negative thought. The thing is, I realize that this thought is no big deal unless I truly believe that I'm an idiot. See, that's the kind of thought that may come up occasionally, but I can simply take my attention off of it and let it go, like a helium balloon released into the atmosphere. See, so many people think that we can always analyze and think our way to security, well-being, peace of mind. See, in my opinion, thinking about things you don't even want is more effort or energy that I believe you should put into any negative thought. Releasing it takes zero energy, and we already talked about what thinking about it over and over can do due to the mind, the body, and the emotions. And you're probably thinking, well, if I can't suppress or stop them, then What do I do when negative thoughts pop up? That's simple. Just follow these basic instructions. What if, just imagine if I made zero effort, no effort at all to suppress or stop the thought and just acknowledge it for what it is, a thought and not a fact. And then I think to myself, wow, would you look at that? Look what I'm doing to myself again. Pause, take a breath, and recognize that this thought can only affect me if I give energy to the thought. And instead of focusing on it, just realize that it means nothing unless I say so. Just let it go and focus. Put actual energy into something that makes you feel the way you want to feel. So the simple solution is to simply recognize the thought and allow it to float by like a passing cloud on a clear summer day. Giving it energy will keep that thought in mind. The more I think about it, the more it affects how I feel in the moment. So a big part of basic instructions in my mastery is learning to only focus on thoughts that make you feel good, recognizing the negative ones and training our minds to allow them to be and allow them to leave on their own. Remember, you can't let go of a thought, but once you see it for what it is, it lets go of you. Success is simple if you know the basic instructions of mind mastery.